Hi, this is Tutor Nick B, and this is lesson 110. Today we're going to look at the uses of there is and there are, and of course this also reflects when it's in the past tense, when we use there was and there were. You followed the same exact pattern as I'm teaching here. So let's look at the first part. The first part most students will probably think is simple, and it is. Most students don't make mistakes on the first part. So let's look at the first part. Use there is if it is followed by a singular noun. Use there are if it is followed by a plural. All right, so if there's only one subject, this is simple. So you say there is one pencil on the table. There are two pencils on the table. Very simple. Here's where the problem comes in, or this is the note that you have to start paying attention to. The verb will always be in agreement with the closest subject. So this, of course, implies there's more than one subject. So it doesn't matter that there's two, that makes it plural. That's what some students think. You only focus on the first subject, whether to decide if you use there is or there are. So let's look at the first mistake that students might often make. Here they might say there are one pen and two pencils on the table. Yeah, I notice this in writing a lot. Students will think, well, you got two subjects and two is a plural here, therefore I must use are. No, that's not what is correct. Remember, what is correct is it must be in agreement with the first or the closest subject. So the closest subject is one pen. So therefore, this line here with the check, this is the correct way to say it. There is one pen and two pencils on the table. One pen comes first, therefore you use there is. Okay, that's where a lot of students will make the mistake. And of course, so if you simply reverse it, the sentence, and you put, if you said there are two pens and one pencil on the table, then you say are, because you use two pens first. That is the closest subject, so therefore you use there are. Right, that's what you need. That's one of the most important points that you need to note here. Okay. A few other things that sometimes people might question about this. Use there is when followed by an uncountable noun. So, just give you one example here, because I think most students know this. There is water in the cup. Water is uncountable, so therefore you use there is, not there are. Okay, another part that sometimes comes up is students get confused when using there is with lots of or a lot of. And they think, well, there's an here, so should I be using is, but yet sometimes it's the subject is plural, so, well, let me try to explain it. With lots of or a lot of, use there is. If followed by a singular or uncountable noun, pay special attention to the uncountable noun, and use there are with the plural. Okay, so just gave two simple examples here. There is a lot of money in his bank account. Money, of course, as a noun is an uncountable noun. So therefore, we should be using there is, not there are. There are lots of plates. All right, you're following with a plural here. So there are lots of plates in the cupboard. Okay, so there, in that situation, use there are. Okay, I hope that clarifies it. I hope that answers. If you had any questions about there is, there are. Like I say, I tend to notice it more in writing. Instinctively, a native speaker will know that when somebody says there are one pen and two pencils on the table, they'll know that's wrong. And if you question on it, they don't always know exactly how to explain why, but they'll know it's wrong because they know they never hear that. But I hope this all clarifies it for you. Again, focus on when you've got two subjects. The verb is always in agreement with the first subject. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Bye.